Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So if you're new here, we talk about interesting things that aren't popping up in the mainstream media, things that maybe you could talk about at the company Christmas party or your family get together or whatever that just other people don't know, gives you fun facts to talk about. We also talk a fair bit about Wyoming because we love Wyoming. But anyway, I came across a really good one today that I want to share with you guys. It's a book I have on order. This podcast, the Wealthion podcast, it's a bit of a financial podcast, but they actually did a recording on it today. I encourage you to go listen to it. Here is the website. Record Millions of U.S. Adults Giving Up on Ever Finding Work by Nicholas Eberstadt. I'm assuming I got his name right. I don't know. I'm struggle with names. But it's a really great podcast. The book is absolutely fascinating. If you run down into it, he goes on to describe how the unemployment rate isn't really what we're being told, and it's frightening what's actually going on. So we currently have a unemployment rate of 3.7%, down near an all-time low. So, but what's really going on, we have close to 100 million U.S. citizens not participating in the labor force. Let me say that again. 100 million. That's almost 1 in every 3 people aren't working. Now, the even scarier part of this is prime age men. So think 25 to 64 or to 54, right here. 1 in 6 of them aren't working, and they're not looking for work. No interest. They're not leaving their rooms. They're not leaving their house. We'll get into what they've responded to in the survey to tell you what they're doing with their time and the way that they're doing it. But let me put that in perspective for you. There are 63 million men between 25 and 54 out there. 1 in 6 of those isn't working. It's roughly 7 million people. No interest. This doesn't count the women. Now, the women are out there as well. So the rest of that is, 37 or so million women. And we're actually seeing a huge uptick in that. So if we look at women who are prime aged without children and unmarried that are checking out, it roughly sits at about 3 million, and it's growing. This isn't the kind of gender equity that we want to see. We're talking about 10 million people that have zero interest in looking for a job or trying to find a job. Now, this excludes everyone who went back to college, who is in training, who is trying to better themselves. These are people who just don't want to participate, okay? They're just, I'm out. So if we run back over here and we look at the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the American Time Use Survey. In the American Use Time Survey, this is self-reported, so people voluntarily give this information. These non-participatory prime-aged men are reporting 2,000 plus hours a year of screen time. Now, it doesn't break down what that screen time actually is, so it doesn't say whether it's Netflix or Fortnite or Call of Duty, whatever. It just says screen time. So they further go on to report that half of all of them are taking depressants and antidepressants and some form of medication. So it doesn't take a far jump, and this is a speculation, but this is the assumption that Nicholas makes, is that, these guys are at home playing video games, stoned, parents' basement, girlfriend's house. Someone is basically sheltering and housing them and subsidizing them to be able to stay home and do this. But this is what they're electing to do with their time. It's not volunteering. It's not the church. It's not taking care of children. They are reporting screen time, self-reported. So we'll take them at face value. I don't know why you would report screen time if you were volunteering or doing something charitable. So these guys are sitting at home playing video games, stoned, while somebody else carries them through with no... Anyway, the survey also goes on to report that of these people, now, especially since the pandemic has happened, 95% do not report that they are not working because it's lack of jobs. They acknowledge that there are jobs out there. Now, 5%, whatever, there's no jobs. Like 95% aren't reporting it's because of that. So rule that out. It's not childcare. It is not volunteering. It's just, I don't want to participate and I'm doing screen time, and this is where I'm at. I encourage you guys to check this podcast out. I found it very enlightening. I will leave a link to it down on Spotify. It's the way I found it. But go check this out. It's an absolute crisis. I mean, he labels it America's invisible crisis. I think that's absolutely true. And before I leave you, I will tell you, this isn't just an American problem. So in Japan, which is where I believe we are headed, let me refresh this to show you. It is hikikomori is what they call it. This is where Japanese men refuse to leave their room. They feel the pressure to work. This is a Japanese man's room, apparently. Wow. So this was reported on way back in 2013. This has been an ongoing thing. And in my opinion, the U.S. economy is headed the same way as the Japanese economy. We will continue to see generations pile into one house, and we will see men start to move this way. Men in Japan are shunning marriage. They're staying home with pornography. They're not working. They're locking themselves in their room. They are shunning any sort of social contact so they don't have to explain to their friends that they're not working. They avoid their parents. They sleep all day. They stay at home. They spend time with the screen at night. And this is how they exist. U.S. is headed in the same pattern. And it's not just the U.S. and Japan that we're seeing this. We're also seeing this take hold in China, where they call it lying flat, where Chinese young men and some women have given up on marriage, have given up on getting a job. They just literally lie around all day so that they're at a state of peace. They feel no friction in their life. This is a global problem. It's not just a U.S. problem. Either way, it's scary. As a business owner, I know that I can't find enough help or the right help or whatever it is at any given time. There are able-bodied people out there that are actively choosing to not work. This is frightening. If you're a parent, please encourage your kid to step out. I know it's hard and it's difficult to do, but you will honestly be doing them a favor, because right now they are leaving society in droves and we have no solution or no answer to bring them back in. This will only exacerbate every problem. This will only continue to grow. This will only continue to fuel the wealth divide as we have people working and people who are absolutely not working. You think homelessness is bad now. It will get out of control. Go listen to this podcast. Hugely educational. Hugely informative. Get the book. Like I said, I have the book on the way. It's just Amazon's taking forever. We got Blizzard. So hasn't gotten here yet. So check it out. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this.